美国时事通，我是罗文。
现在是2025年4月16号星期三。那关于法律的话，今天还有一个非常重大的消息哈，这个联邦住房金融局就调查了纽约州的总检察长，这个猎巫川普的总检察长 Natasha James， 就是他通过伪造文件实行了这个住房贷款的欺诈哈。那他的这个伪造记录就是为了获得更优惠的贷款，他把纽约一个有5单元的房产谎称只有4个单元哈，这个是毋庸置疑的一个非常大的错误。你的单元是有5个还是4个你不知道吗？但是他一直谎称，因为很多的公司哈只为最多4个单元的房款提供房贷哈，因此 Natasha James 能够通过一些贷款公司获得符合条件的贷款。Natasha James 还错误的把他在弗吉尼亚的住房标注为主要住房。那你是纽约的总检察长，怎么变成弗吉尼亚的住所是你的主要住所呢？这就是为了避税的原因哈。所以很多法律的专家就提出说，那要看看他到底因为这个逃避了多少税。你都不住在 Virginia， 他把自己在纽约的住所称为是次要的住所，而且他还在文件中谎称他跟他的爸爸结婚了哈，这个跟欧玛民主党4人组的欧玛一样哈，他假装跟他哥哥结婚，最后让他的哥哥非法移民变成了正式的美国公民。所以你看民主党人真的是习以乱伦的状况出现，去占任何一点小便宜哈。所以呢，他还这样子把他爸爸的名字写成是她老公，并且以夫妻的身份从一个公司获得了3万多的房地产的贷款。所以你看赚那么多钱占那么点小便宜值得吗？ James 一辈子都没有结过婚哈，我看过一篇文章还专门说为什么纽约的立法者基本上都是未婚的，他一辈子都没有结过婚，他却把他的爸爸写成他的老公放在了他的这个购房合同上，这么明目张胆的欺诈简直有恃无恐。联邦住房金融局就把 Natasha 的这个案件作为刑事案件转介给了司法部，司法部会处理哈。如果司法部真的对他起诉的话，这将是 Natasha James 走到头的一个标志哈。我们来看看律师的专业态度，对他的这个贷款欺诈案能够有多大的程度定罪。
Well, obviously, the irony is perfectly crushing. This is a person who prosecuted Trump for everything short of ripping a label off a mattress. And among the charges that were brought in New York, in not just the civil but the criminal case, was making false or misleading statements to financial institutions. And one of these sections, Section 1014 of the federal code, is prosecuted. It took me about 60 seconds of a search to find cases that the Department of Justice brought against people who falsely claimed that property was their principal residence in order to get loans. So this is well-tread areas for the Justice Department. As for James, if we apply the Letitia James standard that she created, there'd be little question here. This seems pretty straightforward. What the administration is saying is this was not her principal residence. In fact, as a New York elected official, she had to say that her principal residence was in New York. This was an out-of-state residence. But also, they claim that in some of these forms, she actually states that her father is her husband in order to file as a married couple. So there's a lot of those questions. And as you know, the Supreme Court just stated earlier in March in a case called Thompson that they want to see knowing false statements under sections like 1014, not just misleading statements. These are misleading statements. Either it's your principal residence or it's not.
Or it's not.
Either you're married to your father or he's your father. So they can this can satisfy the Thompson standard.
Again, everyone wants the best interest rate you can get. I understand that. But you know, she's a lawyer. She knows that when you sign a mortgage application, that mortgage application, if you're borrowing money, if you're not borrowing money, nobody cares whether it's your principal residence, except, you know, where you file your taxes. But she decided to state that that was her principal residence, knowing it was not her principal residence. I didn't even know she had property. I mean, I guess she had property in Virginia and she has rental or investment property in New York. That's fine. But in the New York matter, to get the favorable rate, the building could only have 4 units. but for, it looks like its entirety, the entirety of this building, it had 5 units, meaning it was in violation of the actual loan agreement. And again, this is not a novel application of the law, Jonathan. As you stated during the persecution of Donald Trump, she was using all these novel applications of law to go after him. This isn't novel. This is a black and white issue. You either did or you didn't.
Right, and this has been prosecuted in the past. Now, we have not heard her side of this, but these documents themselves are quite damning. It's hard to see how the residences listed were her principal residence. The business about her father is just bizarre. Now, I'll note that one of the things that Letitia James stressed in her case against Trump is that Trump had to review documents that were filed in his name. And so she dismissed the argument that this was something that Trump's people put together. She said he's ultimately responsible. So they allege that she gave a power of attorney in a couple of these instances, but according to her own standard, that's not enough.
Well, Professor, the referral cites the case against the former Baltimore City prosecutor, Marilyn Mosby, because she was sentenced to a year in home confinement for lying about her finances to make early withdrawals from retirement funds during COVID, and then fraudulently claimed that her own $5,000 was a gift from her then husband as she closed on a Florida condo. Again, this is just, no one ever goes after politicians for these types of, which may seem like small amounts, and they add up.
They do. They do. This is really for James, the very case that she most famously brought. She insisted that these technicalities matter and that the powerful should not be given a free pass. Well, that bill has come due in this case. She's going to have to deal with this filing. I'm honestly just not sure how you defend against this unless you say that these are fraudulent documents.
They're going to say, look, aha, see, this is a revenge presidency. They're weaponizing the DOJ against Democrats, so it's a tit for tat. Do you see that as a potential vulnerability here?
Well, we are certainly living in that age, but the fact is James herself rejected that argument made when she brought, in my view, a ludicrous case in New York. That case was something that ultimately resulted in a grotesque ruling. By the way, the timing here is not good. We're waiting for the appellate decision to come down. It's been a very long time. Each day we're looking for the appellate court to issue the review. Many of us expect that it will not go well for James, but having this pop up in the news just couldn't be great for her team. I'm sure they are really in a very tight fetal position right now.
当初纽约总检察长 Natasha James 起诉川普总统说财务欺诈，但是他这个起诉的话被川普的银行德意志银行还有多方的合作方都予以否认，但是他仍然判决川普高达5点多亿的罚款。那这是美国史上最天价的恶意的罚款，但却没有任何实锤的。但是今天如果司法部要对他进行起诉的话，那绝对是板上钉钉。你的爸爸不是你的老公，你为了贷3万块钱却付出了昂贵的代价，那同时你把一个4房说成5房，这都是毫无任何理由的。你不能说你连自己这个房子里有几个单元都不知道吧，对不对？所以这个是无可辩驳的事实。所以喜替人头者人亦剃其头哈，所以我们可以看到 Natasha James 的悲惨的下场。尽管民主党说川普总统实施报复又怎么了？如果你没有做违法的事，你就不应该担心你会受到报复。川普总统的策略这一次是对的，反正我也不要连任了，我就该怎么干我怎么干。第二个，如果我们不给你一个教训的话，每次都是我们在处于一个防守的阶段，那民主党人在恶意的进攻。如果总是这样的话，他们简直是会肆无忌惮了。
The president of these United States is not above the law.
No matter how rich, powerful, or politically connected you are, everyone must play by the same rules.
今天当我们也在把他所要求的公正还给他的时候，正是美国人寻求公道的时候。OK， 这是今天的播报，感谢您的收看，加油。